whatever you bring to the table, if it's to sweep road, if it's to clean people's houses, whatever you do or whatever you give to me that will fetch me money, I am ready to do it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kiki here. Thank you for stopping by. If this is the first time you're watching my vlogs or you're seeing this face, my name is Nkiru and I recently moved to the UK not quite long ago. Hey, I'm going to be talking about my job experience. Yeah, my first job in the UK, and it was the role of a warehouse worker. Yes, for some of you who don't know, or let me just tell you guys about the backstory. So I came to the UK on the 28th of January 2023, and I officially resigned from my job in Nigeria on the 14th of February 2023. During that period, immediately I came into the UK, I was actively job hunting, but nothing was forthcoming. I did that for a period of 2 months plus. Like every day I go to my phone, check on Total Jobs, check on a couple of job sites, the likes of Total, the likes of Rates, on LinkedIn. That was what I was doing like for that duration of time, but nothing was forthcoming. And I have never not worked in my life. Like even from immediately I finished from school, even before youth service, I had always worked. Like I'm somebody that advocates for a woman. Like as a woman, you should be able to have a source of income, no matter how small it is, no matter how menial it is. That is what I advocate for. That is always what I tell people around me. Like as a lady, always have a source of income. So imagine coming into a new country and experiencing something like this. And the funny thing was that if you come into the UK, like if you've relocated to the UK, you know that Naira does not equate pounds. It's not possible. So your money keeps diminishing, and it was really a bad experience. So fast forward to March, sometime in March, mid-March, I got this call from an agency that applied prior to this whole thing. I got a call that I should come for induction. So the way it works is that before then I had already zeroed my mind. I was like, you know what, because it's good you are mentally prepared when you're coming to the UK. Like I had already been mentally prepared. In my head, I'm like, whatever you bring to the table, if it's to sweep road, if it's to clean people's houses, whatever you do or whatever you give to me that will fetch me money, I am ready to do it. So that's the mentality I had prior to this. So finally I got the call and I finally got this job, and the job was a warehouse job. So I'm going to tell you guys what the job entails. So the warehouse job, there's a difference between a factory job and a warehouse job. A warehouse job is like, it doesn't have anything to do with production compared to a factory. Factory they produce, but warehouse is more like repackaging and stuff. So I finally got this job with a warehouse and I was called for an induction. Bear in mind that I had been job hunting, so when this job came, I was like, God has finally answered my prayer. So they gave us a tour of the facility, the do's and don'ts. So they told us that if you're coming to, first of all, if you're coming to the factory, you're not expected to put on your earring. Even if you're within the building, you had your earrings on. If you want to enter into like the facility itself, you're expected to take off your earrings. So I was expected to take off my earrings. No jewelry is allowed, no neck piece is allowed, and knots were prohibited. Like a lot of people in the factory had allergies, so you can't bring knots to work. What else? Okay, I needed to get a safety boot. That was another thing. So they told us all these things, but in my head I'm like, just no wahala, shebi, all these are your requirements, abi. No wahala, I'm going to get it. So finally the D-Day came and I started this job. The duration was 6:30 to 2 p.m. So like whatever you're doing, you're meant to be in the office. That particular day, the first day of the job, I was expected to be in the office around 6:15. Like I'm meant to, since I'm like a new intake, I'm meant to be at the gate at 6:15 or 6:10. Then they'll now take me in and give me my key card. I was actually looking forward to this whole experience. I had already said, you know what, Shebi's job, I'm going to do the job. But my people, what I want to tell you guys now is there is work and there is work. If you guys understand what I mean, there is work and there is work. So the day came and I finally started this job. It was an 8-hour shift. I have never in my life stood for 30 minutes straight. It's not possible. Like, it's not even possible. I'm one of those people that will be like, oh, I can't even trek from here to point A to point B. Talk less of standing. It was just a bad experience for me. But me, I'd already positioned my mind I was going to do it. I got into the factory. I got in around 6:30. The way the factory works in this, the way house works in this country is that you have different lines. In the way it's structured, you have different lines. And the way house I worked in, we had 8 lines. Sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 10. It just varies. So the first time I got in, they took my name because you're expected to wait at the gate. Like, there's another gate when you enter the factory itself, like the hub. So you're expected to wait at the gate. When you wait there, they'll take attendance. Then they will now usher you to your line. Like, the lady in question, she'll tell you, okay, you're with this supervisor for line 1, or you're with this supervisor for line 2, like that. So I got in and she takes my name and she was like, you know what? You're going to be with so and so person. I was like, no wahala. It looked easy, but it wasn't. Those 3 weeks were the worst 3 weeks of my life. Like, I lost over 5 kg from that experience. So fast forward to this whole thing, I met the lady, and what we did in the factory was like repackaging products. You know, there are different like food products. There are different outlets in the UK. You have the likes of Aldi, Asda, Tesco, you know. Different stores have different ways of packaging their things. I know in Asda, they package their things in like 4s, in a pack of 4, you know. That day, I walked on the line of an energy drink. You guys will think it's easy. We're expected to repackage energy drinks. And energy drinks, when it comes from the production house, it comes in packs of like 24 or more. So you're meant to like repackage them to like 4, like in smaller bits. I was like, you know what, no wahala, I'm going to do it. It looked easy. But I started the job. Like, you're expected to pack it up, flip it. Imagine me with my tiny hands flipping an energy drink. I did that thing from 6:30 to somewhere around 9. They told us we had break. The break we had was for 30 minutes for the whole day, for the whole 8 hours. So the first break was in the morning and it was for 15 minutes. And mind you, as you're even leaving the warehouse to the canteen, there was a canteen there. I'm going to be leaving video shortly of what it looks like. It was a really neat place. I'm going to be leaving video shortly here. So this was what I looked like every single day when clocking into work. I was expected to wear my reflector jacket, my safety boots, that earring I was wearing. I was expected to take it off. And once I get ushered into the factory, there's this cap. We wear a blue cap on top of my wig. Then there's also like a lab coat, a blue lab coat we are expected to wear on top of the reflector jacket. So that's like the full kit every single day while you're working at the factory. And they also give us gloves, hand gloves too, once you get in. I was actually looking forward to the whole experience, but my sister, it wasn't easy. For you to leave where you're working to the kitchen, to the cafeteria, or where you're going to have lunch, that walk alone takes like 3 or 4 minutes. And before you say jack, 15 minutes is over. There was no time for you to like regain your strength, no nothing, and you're back again. From that time, somewhere around 11, when you get back, around 11, 12, you have another 15 minutes break. I always look forward to that, the later part of the 15 minutes break, because in my head I'm like, oh god, I'm finally heading home. I did that for roughly 2 to 3 weeks, and it wasn't a good experience. But did it pay the bills? Yes, it did. So I'm going to be listing out like pros and cons of what I got derived out of this. The pros are fine. You're going to get your bills paid. You're going to be paid money. No matter how, there's something called minimum wage in this country. So no matter how bad it is, at the end of the day, you're going to get your pay. We're paid weekly, like every Friday. Sometimes Thursday midnight, they'll pay you. So I was looking forward to that money, provided it's going to pay my bill and I'm going to get cash. Like I'm going to have like some sort of income. I was really pleased about it. So that's one of the pros. I met a couple of Nigerians on the job, and going home with them, coming to work with them, like no matter how difficult it was, it was a bit good because I had company, because I had people to talk with. What else? I think that's the pros. Then the cons. I don't wish for anybody to work there. The first day I did that job, when I came back, I didn't go back to that warehouse till like 2 days later. I didn't try it because my body was aching. Everything was aching. I had not done warehouse in my life before. Like when I was telling my people back home, they did not believe it. They'll tell you Nkiru doesn't have strength. I had not done it. Where the strength came from, I don't know. Maybe because I had bills to pay. Maybe that's where the strength came from. So if you have other options, I don't know. Some people have like a flexible working experience, like in warehouse. Some people, their job is soft, but mine was hard labor. So I don't pray for anybody to work there. It was stressful. It was difficult. It was a bad experience for me. Like as a lady, you shouldn't be going through all those things. You're standing up, you're stacking. Sometimes we are on rotation. Sometimes you're packaging. Sometimes you're flipping it. It depends on what they give to you. Sometimes you're stacking it because you have to stack it. Sometimes you stack it in 16 or in 18. It was just a lot. Imagine you as a woman bending down, and it was a bad experience. Then what other thing? Language barrier. We had a lot of Chinese. We had a lot of Portuguese there. We had a lot of majorly Chinese, Portuguese. They were whites too. I think people from Norway and a couple of people, those ones at least they speak English. But you see the Portuguese and the Chinese, the way we communicate is me, I show you this. Yes, you have 2 points and talk. You cannot, they don't understand English. They don't understand English at all. I think the Portuguese have their worse because when they're communicating with you, they are speaking French, and I'm like, I don't know how to go about this. Okay, I also made another friend there. He was Ghanaian. At least like we communicated in English, but the rest, like there was language barrier. You tell somebody to do this, you have to illustrate and explain, me come, you go, it was a lot. So those were the cons, and the fact that I had to wake up every single day, because from my house to the warehouse was roughly around 2 hours. Initially I was waking up around 3:30. When I wake up around 3:30, I would bathe. My bus was for 4:20, and I had to walk like 20 minutes to my bus station. So you guys can imagine how difficult the whole thing was. Imagine you waking up 3:30 every single day. You now wait for, after bathing, you shower, you start trekking to the bus stop for like 20 minutes. When you get to the bus stop, you now wait for your bus for around 4:20. Fortunately enough, I got to discover that there was another bus for 4:50. And I was like, you know what? It's like God answered my prayer. I didn't know that there was another bus for 4:50. So even if I go around 4:50, I used to make it to the warehouse around 6:30. I am grateful for the experience. Whoever is going through this, if you recently relocated to the UK and it's been tough for you, I just want to tell you that it gets easier. It's going to be difficult too. Like there are sometimes I'll be at the bus stop, I'm like, God, it's not like I don't have an experience. It's not like I've not worked in like proper establishments before. Like I've been applying for jobs. What's happening? This job is just too difficult for me. There's sometimes I pray at the bus stop. when I usually take my frustration out on God. You get? So that's what I do. And God has been faithful. If you recently moved to you relocated to the UK and you're experiencing something like this, it gets easier. It gets easier. The reason why I relocated to the UK, hopefully that's like a separate video, but like I just wanted a better life for myself. I knew it was going to be difficult, but I was willing to put in the work. For those 3 weeks, I told you guys I lost weight. I couldn't sleep well. Imagine waking up around 3:30 in the morning. I wasn't sleeping properly, and a whole lot of things. But I'm grateful that job lasted for 3 weeks. Those 3 weeks were difficult. If it was in Nigeria, Nigerians, we are not used to that kind of life. When people come and they're like, warehouse. People be like, oh, is it not work? Nigerians, we are not built for that kind of thing. If life is difficult, I will just go to Balogo and be selling with my big sisters. Do you get? Like, we are not wired to be doing hard work. An average Nigerian, if you don't have a 9 to 5, you are an entrepreneur. That's the way we are wired. But these Chinese guys, these Portuguese guys, all these guys, that's what they do back home. So they are used to it. But as Nigerians, we don't do that. You get? We don't. It's not what we do. So I'm here to just bring like a ray of hope to anybody going through this, having a difficult time. It gets better. It gets better. It might not be peculiar to my relocating experience, or this whole relocating experience, job hunting and warehouse job. It might be life in general. You get? It gets better. It gets better. Sometimes you don't see the ray of sunshine from afar. You're like, when would this? You find it very difficult to believe, but with time it gets better. So I just came here to share this story and hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, and all those good stuff. Thank you.